North Carolina Congressman Mark Harris. Congressman, good to see you. Additional legislation will still be needed to fund the rest of the government and avoid a shutdown. What are your expectations in terms of getting those bills across the finish line and where you are heading into January 30th?
Well, I think we're excited to be back, and we're looking forward to moving these appropriation bills. We were told before we went on Christmas break that our goal was to see one per week, basically, in these weeks in January laid out to make sure that we're able to move this government forward and avoid a government shutdown. And I think we've seen, as you said, the information on this one this week, and I think we're ready to begin to work on it.
How does the Venezuela situation change the priorities right now? You were briefed yesterday, is that right?
Well, right now, we're just now getting back. Some of the top leadership was briefed yesterday. More of us will hear more today, in fact, about the Venezuelan situation. I don't think it changes our situation as far as the government funding. We have appropriation bills. Speakers made it very clear that we want to be able to move these 9 appropriation bills that are still outstanding before January 30th, and that's our goal, is to get it done. What's happening in Venezuela is something that President is demonstrating incredible leadership on, and I think we'll continue to see that. I mean, Marco Rubio made the case all over the weekend, and so we're continuing to see that take place, and there's a lot of support here that I'm understanding here on Capitol Hill for the progress that's being made there.
Yeah, Maduro and his wife pled not guilty yesterday to narco-terrorism charges in a New York City courtroom. The 63-year-old dictator called himself, quote, a prisoner of war and, quote, a decent man. He told the judge he and his wife were kidnapped from their home in Caracas. The Trump administration briefed the leadership yesterday about Operation Absolute Resolve, leaving them largely split along party lines. His Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer afterwards. Watch this.
This briefing, while very extensive and long, posed far more questions than it ever answered. Their plan for the U.S. running Venezuela is vague, based on wishful thinking, and unsatisfying. I did not receive any assurances that we would not try to do the same thing in other countries.
Congressman, your reaction. I know the Senate will vote on a bipartisan war powers resolution to block the president from further military action in Venezuela. Your expectations there?
Listen, I think it's very important to understand that that reaction by Chuck Schumer is just evident of how far out of touch the Democrats have been on this issue. The bottom line is that Maduro is a criminal. He is a drug lord. He is running a cartel. And what we saw happen over the weekend was phenomenal, where the DEA was there, our military was there as backup and support for an arrest that needed to happen. And what was so amazing about that is while at 1 a.m. on Saturday morning, when we got up Saturday, that by noon on Monday, that Maduro and his wife were in a New York City courtroom for their first arraignment. I think that's fascinating and speaks to the leadership of President Trump, speaks to the leadership of the U.S. military, speaks to the leadership of his cabinet. And so, listen, I think the main word right now in Venezuela is stabilization. And I think that that's the clear thing that is happening as we stabilize it and we begin to see things move forward. So I think the Democrats need to calm down, and they need to recognize that right now good things are happening, and we're looking at stabilization, and then eventually looking for free and fair elections to happen again in Venezuela and let it come back and be the country that it has been in the past and can be in the future.
Yeah, but will they really do that? I mean, after all, it's an election year, right, Congressman? For the first time in history, registered Republicans outnumber registered Democrats in North Carolina by some 2,000 voters. This marks a dramatic political shift in one of the nation's most closely watched battleground states, the Tar Heel state, choosing a new senator in November. The president set to meet with House Republicans today to discuss their election year agenda. What's your take on that agenda?
Well, I think that when you look at what's happened in North Carolina, hopefully that's a precursor for what we're going to see happen in the country. And it's simply a response of the American people to the Republican agenda versus the agenda that the Democrats have been pushing that seems to be tax and spend, seems to be soft on crime, seems to be throwing open our borders. And what you're seeing happen in North Carolina is just a winning message. And we've seen it happen in North Carolina as we've had a General Assembly that has made North Carolina one of the top top states that's good for business and really and truly holding tax rates low. And it's a great model for what we need to see happen across the country. So people in North Carolina are leading the way once again, I hope.